If you're considering acquiring a watch in 2023, make sure you go in with all the information you need to make the best option. The simplest method to accomplish this is to watch this video and listen to Teddy Baldassarre's advice for first-time watch buyers. Then stay until the finish since the final tip could earn you money. We've seen a bubble in the previous several years as supply chains, material costs, and other variables have made them even more challenging to secure. It's frustrating for watch enthusiasts who have been saving up for their dream timepiece because the purchase doesn't seem to get any closer despite putting money away every month in the savings kit. But here's the thing. Teddy Baldassarre, the founder and creative director of one of the fastest growing retailers in all luxury watches, said that if you keep waiting, you might never get that watch. Of course, you might sit back and wait for decades for that wonderful opportunity to get the watch you have desired for so long, and it could happen. But what is the expense of it in comparison to the time lost by not having it? It certainly pays to be patient, but does it pay to be patient that all the time and work spent saving is essentially wasted? He also said that if you buy a watch and keep it for a few years, says 5, what you spend for it now doesn't matter. According to Teddy Baldassarre, we always have peaks and troughs in locations over the years, but the overall trend is unlikely to be upward. So, if you've saved up for a long time and are considering waiting for another, examine the balance of now against then. As of this video, watch prices have returned to where they were predicted to be a few years ago, so any additional loss is purely speculative at this stage. As Teddy Baldassarre stated, resale value doesn't matter if you acquire it and enjoy it for a long time. But what if your savings jar can't keep up with the watch you've been eyeing and you're stuck? Then there's something you should know. Yes, it is critical to keep your eyes on the price. And no, you do not want to take the easy way out and get something cheaper to receive a quicker hit. But if the watch you desire has genuinely left the environment and become substantially out of reach, there will always be a point at which it's necessary to shift your focus. Teddy Baldassarre believes knowing the limitations of what you want to spend on a watch and if the watch you like most has slid outside of that is critical. After that, things make perfect sense to leave it alone. After all, no new watch will leave you fully satisfied, so taking that risk on the extra stretch isn't worth it. He noted that he does not recommend a hasty course change to whatever is most convenient, but that there will always be another watch that gets you just as good, if not better, results inside the bracket that makes sense to you. It's worth considering the concept at least to avoid hyper-focusing on what you can't have, because that might be deceiving. After all, the more you can have something, the more you want it. A hype that the actual watch will never be able to match. There has been a significant shift in opinion between conventional and independent music in recent years. Independent watchmakers are fantastic because they provide a piece of personality from a tiny and usually highly passionate brand while providing good value for money. Online evaluations from a linked community make it easier to separate the good from the poor when purchasing your new pod watch. But that's it. It's easy to get psyched into a buy with these small brands just because everyone else is talking about it. Sure, they might all be talking about it because it's wonderful, but it could also be because it's new. The news cycle moves quickly, requiring enthusiasm to keep the gears turning smoothly. The last thing you want is to be left holding a hot potato a week later. That isn't to suggest you shouldn't buy independently. You should almost certainly consider it. Just don't buy blindly. Allow the dust to settle before separating the wheat from the chaff. Granted, the hyped brands will likely be sold out by that point, but at least you'll know that come round 2, you'll have a better knowledge of what you've signed up for. Now, thank you for reaching this point. Make sure to finish this video to know more. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel and like, comment, share, and hit the notification bell for more upcoming videos like this. When reviewing a watch, People often say that it doesn't have X, or if only this watch has Y, I would have bought it. So often, X and Y are minor specification aspects that, on paper, carry a lot of weight. Still, Teddy Baldassarre believes that waiting for the ideal specification can cause more harm than good. When you think about it, we don't buy these watches because we need a decent timekeeper. Only if you know exactly how accurate the watch is. However, a larger proportion will disregard an otherwise excellent watch because it lacks a date window or hacking seconds. The primary reason to like a watch is the way it looks and feels. Of course, I can only speak for some. Still, it is undeniably true for the vast majority. And dismissing what is otherwise a fantastic choice over something as trivial as a specification can be a fool's errand. Teddy Baldassarre said you shouldn't make major concessions, but you should check the correct options for you. For example, do you think you've made the proper option if you buy a watch with all the appropriate specs but don't enjoy the look over one that looks amazing but lacks a little functionality? You may have, but it's worth considering before leaving with your money. The final point requires a clear qualification. Because I am not a financial expert, I urge you to research financing your watch or try these tips, according to Teddy Baldassarre. However, as savings rates begin to rise again, it is worthwhile to explore 0% finance when purchasing a watch. Many of you will prefer to buy with cash exclusively, which is good and practical, but that doesn't mean finance is automatically irresponsible. If the savings rate is larger than the finance rate, you'll be better off keeping that money in the bank with a 0% finance. The higher the savings rate, the easier that decision becomes. You can wind up with more money than if you paid cash up front. Once again, it's important to examine if the payments are fully affordable. If you have the cash in the first place, there's little to detract from the benefits of keeping the money with you for longer. You can use your money to pay for the watch over time, and you'll finish up in the same spot, if not a little better off. So there you have it, 5 top watch buying suggestions you should know when purchasing your first watch. What advice do you have? Please leave them in the comments section below. And that's it. Thank you for watching. What do you think of these tips? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to be updated for upcoming videos like this. Before you leave, did you know the top 5 wanted Rolex watches in the world? If you want to know more, make sure to click and watch this video right here. See you there.